Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to Marvel Zombies Episode 3. The Rotting Dead Will Taste Their Fear. So, what was I going to say? I took a break in between episodes 2 and 3, because I needed to re-up on my drink, and I decided to watch the breakdown for episodes 1 and 2. Screen Crush actually split them up into episodes, and they weren't talking about future ones until they actually got to that one, so that was good. Didn't get spoiled on anything. But one thing I missed when going through the first episode was they mentioned the Wakanda incident. So not only does obviously they know about Wakanda because this is after Civil War and that. Um, but that was where the What If episode ended. Was Scott, Spider-Man, and T'Challa heading to Wakanda, and in there was Thanos with everything but the Mind Stone. So something actually does happen there, and it doesn't sound like it's anything good. The fact that it's been, I don't know. Well, that was close to the outbreak, because that was during the start of Infinity War, whereas the outbreak was the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp. So yeah, that's not much time has passed between the outbreak and then, but it's been a bit under 5 years for the rest of this show. So, are those three just dead? Also, I'm just now coming to the realization that Scott is obviously the parallel for Janet from the comic. I mentioned in the last one how T'Challa had Janet's zombified head, took it with him up to Asteroid M, came back after 5 years, and she was cured, well, as cured as can be, from her hunger. So, yeah. And then in the What If episode, you had Vision cure Scott Lang's head using the Mind Stone, and then T'Challa escorts them to what is meant to be a safe place. I just think that's interesting. I've never put that together till now. But anyway, let's get this episode started in 3, 2, 1, go. Cause I did get spoiled on one thing, and that it was what this episode starts with. I'm assuming anyone watching has already seen the episode, and then they're doing the reactions on a second time viewing. But unless that I know that for sure, I'm not going to actually mention it. Until now. It picks up where that episode ended. Thanos. Yeah, there is a question of how did he get the time stone? Oh, this T'Challa actually only lost a leg. I thought he lost Hmm. Interesting. So there is some immediate degradation, and then they get their abilities back. Because Scott and that. And it got arrived. Because they did say New Asgard. And that's only established after this. I didn't think of that either. I'm sorry, what? He's going in that pit, isn't he? Well, you do have three incredibly smart people, so they'd be able to devise a plan on the fly. Okay, maybe Scott's not incredibly smart, but he used the time stone to heal himself and completely decimated Stormbreaker. Stormbreaker, which was able to withstand five of the Infinity Stones, was taken out by just the Power Stone. Did we ever really see him run like a panther? And you fail. Okay, I have several issues with what's happened in this episode so far. Don't get me wrong, it was an entertaining fight, but. Hey, Rintra. I don't immediately recognize the other two. This Peter looks less like Tom than the other one did, but I guess it has been 5 years, so he's aged a little. That's what happens when you kiss sand. How did he get vodka in there? Even in his depression, he still has his ego. So how did Valkyrie and that manage to put this together? Okay, they haven't just fully assimilated a town. And spike up from the ground. Or not. Eaten by zombies? Well, she didn't check the spear. Is that Odin's spear? No, that's a fair response. I am the avatar of Khonshu. I was, I was worrying, wondering, whether they'd see it. Well, it's very good that they had him. Who's gonna touch something? Who voiced Khonshu? Because that's definitely not the one from Moon Knight. Drums in the deep. Not many mortals get to see an Asgardian feast. No, I think that's Loki. Oh wait, no, he did. He did have burns. Queen of Sokovia? How? That is Loki's. Why was Jimmy not allowed to eat, but Alexi is? That would be why Jimmy wasn't allowed to. Well, there goes Alexi. Okay, so a zombie biting you turns you into a zombie. You eating a zombie turns you into a zombie. Why? I'm going to assume it's because the others have been feasting for longer. want you. The fact that he didn't even get to do anything. And and there goes the first of that crew. Not Jimmy. I like Jimmy. At least he didn't have to live long without his friend. There's no way Thor is actually dead. Also, where is Loki? he, also, Korg and Meek. Is anyone going to mention to Valkyrie that they want to contact the Nova Corps? Because she'd be the one to know that the Nova Corps isn't around anymore. There's Red outside that ship. You know, this ship would really suit Moon Knight. Just get rid of that little bit on the front. Like, unconnected and... electricity. Or more lightning. So that was Thor in that shot. So in the first trailer, there was this shot. and everyone thought it was Thor. Then you see in the second trailer, actually Icarus is a part of it, and he's also damaged similarly. And so they're like, oh no, it must be Icarus. But no, it was Thor. Hey guys, you might want to leave. So, when I said drums in the deep, and this is basically a fly you fools. Okay, I guess that was a more apt comparison than I thought. Here's the thing: Khonshu wouldn't be leading Blade through all this if the Nova Corps weren't able to help. Because surely the Novas have their own gods, which would be able to communicate with the Ennead through Omnipotent City, and they'd be able to speak to Khonshu. Um, Apparently, right there. They've been cordoning off. Is that where it ends? Or are we going back to Spider-Man? Okay, that's where it ends. Okay. I have less issues with the opening, knowing that Thor survived, because he should be able to take the brunt of the Power Stone, because that was all that Thanos was using. But the only things that could damage the stones were the stones themselves. I used the stones to destroy the stones. An exposed vibranium generator should not have the same destructive capabilities as the Infinity Stones. Now, yes, Infinity Stones are different universe to universe. Some are stronger than others. Some have different makeups. Some have different abilities. Sometimes there's just more of them in some universes. Like, I think, what is it? 1610 had 10 Infinity Stones? Like, sure, okay, we can say that maybe um the stones in this universe are physically weaker, but also they're stronger power wise. Because Stormbreaker in the main universe was able to withstand a blast from 5 of them. No, 6 of them. Because he threw it after he'd put the Mind Stone in. And yeah. Yet this Stormbreaker was taken out by, again, seemingly just the Power Stone. Now, you could argue that in Infinity War, it was being reinforced by Thor's power, because it was still arcing off lightning, I'm pretty sure, but it still shouldn't have been able to be taken out that way. Rocket and Groot just got annihilated in the same way Kate Bishop did in the first episode. Huh. I really don't know what Khonshu's goal is, because there's no way Khonshu would not know. One, how are the Nova Corps still alive? Xandar was decimated when Thanos took the Power Stone. He has the Power Stone. How is the Nova Corps still around? Uh, ah, very weird. So what is the last episode going to be? I'm guessing the last episode is going to have to be something to do with the Hulk. Like, I'm assuming that is the being that they saw in Wakanda. Um, okay, so in this episode, you had Paul Rudd as Scott Lang returning, Adam Hugel as Rintra returning, Jimmy Woo was voiced by Randall Park, Katie Chen was voiced by Aquafina, Shang Li was Simu Liu, Aman Vellani was Kamala Khan, Tessa Thompson was Valkyrie, Elizabeth Olsen was Wanda, but David Harbour was Alex. So most of the cast was who they were originally voiced by. But if we go with Moon Knight, who voiced Khonshu in Moon Knight? Because that was the biggest difference. Oh no, that is apparently the same person who voiced. Okay, that it sounded very different. Hudson Thames. The name sounds familiar. He was Peter Parker in Your Friendly Neighborhood, and he was in what he. Okay, he's sounded a lot different. Huh. Okay. Maybe my ears are just off today. No, because even in the clip of Moon Knight that popped up on my Instagram for some reason earlier today, Khonshu had a much deeper voice than in this episode. The changing of the rules where if you eat a part of a zombie, you get zombified as well. I mean, I don't know if that's a change of the rules, more so, never really seen it, so you don't really know if that would zombify someone or not. I don't see why it wouldn't, but also, um, yeah. I really don't know what this final episode's going to be, because how are they going to stop it? Like, obviously they're going to have Spider-Man and Scott Lang, Rintra, and the rest of the Kamar-Taj people come in, but how how's that going to help? Like, none of them are really a match for Wanda. It took all of Kamar-Taj to keep Wanda out, and even then she was able to slip through. Then again, this Wanda doesn't have the Darkhold, so she wouldn't be as powerful. Yet she does know about the reality warping. Hmm. Some things are a little weird with the timeline here. Because it was also pointed out in the Easter egg, Ms. Marvel didn't happen till after everyone returned. How does she have the bangle? She did say had the sense her grandmother had the sense to send it to her, but eh, interesting. I don't know. Maybe things will be explained in the next episode, because we still don't know how this ties into Wanda's multiple appearances in What If. But I'm going to end this one here. I'll catch you in the next one.